The only one. David was the only black student in his honors classes at Newark School of Global Studies. Not that being smart surprised him. He'd always excelled academically, loved learning, dreamed of becoming an engineer. But apparently, his intelligence surprised some of his classmates. "How did you even get into this class?" asked Blake during their first week of sophomore year, loud enough for the whole class to hear. "Affirmative action?" The teacher kept writing on the board, pretending not to hear. It started as jokes, comments about David's hair, his voice, his presence in spaces his classmates didn't think he belonged. On Cultural Appreciation Day, ironically, someone hung whites-only signs above water fountains as a joke. David watched white students laugh and take photos while he felt sick to his stomach. "Can't you take a joke?" they'd ask when he didn't laugh. But the jokes escalated. Racial slurs in group chats he wasn't part of, but somehow always found their way to him via screenshot. Comments in class about urban students and those neighborhoods. Confederate flag stickers on lockers. Each incident felt like a paper cut, small individually, but collectively bleeding him out. David tried to rationalize it. Maybe they just didn't like him personally. Maybe he was too sensitive. Maybe this was just how high school was. But by the end of sophomore year, he couldn't deny the truth. This was racism, and his school was complicit. The breaking point came when his group project partners refused to work with him. "We'll do it ourselves," Sarah told him. "You can just put your name on it." "I want to contribute." "Look, we're just trying to help you out. You probably wouldn't understand the material anyway." David had the highest grade in the class. He'd tutored 2 of them in math, but they'd already decided he didn't belong. He reported it to his teacher, who suggested he was reading too much into it and should focus on his own work. He told the principal, who said conflicts between students were normal, and he should learn to work with diverse personalities. The racism was obvious to David, invisible to administration. He started missing school. The daily assaults on his dignity, the constant need to prove his humanity, the exhaustion of being hyper-visible, yet completely unseen. It broke something in him. His grades slipped. His mental health deteriorated. He stopped eating lunch, hiding in the library to avoid the cafeteria where students openly mocked him. His mother noticed. "Baby, what's happening?" And David broke, told her everything. The slurs, the exclusion, the teachers who looked away, the administration that didn't care, the toll it took on his mind and body, and belief that he could succeed in spaces that clearly didn't want him. His mother was furious, not at David, at the system that had failed him. She connected with other black families in the district, discovered David wasn't alone. Almost every black student had similar stories. Together, they organized, demanded a meeting with the Newark Board of Education, made noise that couldn't be ignored. David testified at that meeting, hands shaking, voice cracking, but determined. "I came to this school ready to learn," he said. "Instead, I learned that my classmates see my skin before they see my brain, that teachers will ignore racism happening in front of them, that excellence doesn't protect you when you're black in spaces designed for white comfort." He described how Cultural Appreciation Day had become Cultural Mockery Day, how racist jokes were never disciplined, how reporting incidents led to retaliation, not resolution, how the message was clear. Black students should be grateful to be there and accept whatever treatment they received. The meeting went viral. Local news covered it. Pressure mounted. The school district commissioned a climate review. The report, though not fully public, confirmed what David and other black students had been saying. Anti-blackness was pervasive, systemic, and largely unaddressed. The district implemented changes, mandatory anti-racism training for staff, new reporting procedures, consequences for racial harassment, and creation of a black student union that David helped establish. It wasn't enough. It wasn't fast enough. But it was something. David stayed at the school, though many urged him to transfer. He refused to be pushed out of the education he deserved. Instead, he became an advocate. The Black Student Union provided community, support, and collective action that individual complaints never could. Senior year, David gave another speech, this time at an anti-racism rally organized by students. "We saved ourselves," he said. "When institutions failed us, we built our own support. When adults looked away, we spoke louder. When they told us to accept discrimination, we demanded dignity." He looked at the crowd. Black. Students of color, white allies who'd learned to use their voices and privilege for justice. Racism in schools isn't about individual bad actors. It's about systems that protect white comfort over black safety. It's about educators who know racism is happening and choose silence. It's about cultures that tolerate bias because confronting it is uncomfortable. David graduated with honors, accepted to his dream engineering program. But the experience changed him. He'd learned that intelligence, achievement, and compliance wouldn't protect him from racism, that speaking up was dangerous, but staying silent was deadly, that sometimes you have to save yourself because the people paid to protect you won't. He kept in touch with the Black Student Union, mentored younger black students navigating the same hostile environment he'd survived, reminded them they weren't alone, weren't crazy, weren't too sensitive. The racism was real. Their pain was valid. Their resistance was necessary. Years later, David would tell his own children, "Excellence is not armor against racism, but community is, voice is, refusal to accept mistreatment is. You deserve to learn in spaces that respect your humanity. And if those spaces don't exist, we build them ourselves." The school's culture shifted slowly, not because administration suddenly cared, but because students demanded change and refused to stop until they got it. The Black Student Union continued advocating, educating, supporting each other through a system that still didn't fully see them. David's story became part of that collective resistance, proof that speaking up matters, that student voices have power, that no one should have to endure what he endured just to get an education. The only one became one of many, and together they changed what it meant to be black and brilliant in a space that tried to diminish both. Key facts. Black students are 35% of children bullied because of race, despite being only 15% of public school population. 42% of minority youth experience at least one discriminatory incident in first year of high school. Racist bullying increases suicide risk, 3x more than non-biased bullying. Schools often minimize or ignore racial harassment, requiring external pressure for change. Student-led advocacy groups are more effective than individual complaints.